What's going on, Falcons fans? Logan here. Welcome back to Rise Up Rundown, and if you're new here, welcome. So, I looked through the comment section in my previous video, and I'm surprised myself that quite a few people want to know my way too early 2020 Atlanta Falcons predictions. And that means predicting what their record will be. Are they going to go to the playoffs? Are they going to go far in the playoffs? Who are the toughest opponents they have to play? Just fun stuff like that. And at first, I wasn't sure if I wanted to make this because I was like, okay, look, Super Bowl just happened this week. But I'm looking through the internet, I guess, and a lot of these NFL fans, it's not just Atlanta Falcons fans, a lot of these NFL fans are already making their way too early predictions for their team, and I just thought, might as well bandwagon, I guess. Like, let's make my own way too early 2020 Atlanta Falcons predictions. And two things before we get started. The first thing is, I was so scared to make this because, look, I'm not too optimistic on the 2020 Atlanta Falcons, let's just say that. So if you guys are mad with my takes, it's just what I'm feeling right now. But this does kind of lead into the second point. We have no idea how any of these teams are going to do. The Super Bowl, again, just happened this week. So don't take any of this seriously. It's way too early to predict anything. But as of right now, I'm not too optimistic on the Falcons. But maybe if I read through these opponents, maybe magic will happen. And next thing you know, I'm predicting them to win the Super Bowl. So let's get into it. Let's start with the home opponents that are showing up on this screen I have right in front of me. The first team that they have to play at home is the Chicago Bears. Obviously, I don't know if this is the first team they have to play at home. This is just the first team I'm looking at on my screen. But anyway, this is kind of a sleeper playoff team in my opinion because they got the elite defense and Khalil Mack. You got Matt Nagy and just one of the better coaches in the NFL. And the offense itself is actually pretty decent. But here's the problem, they don't have a quarterback. Now, I say this could be a sleeper playoff team because if they just tweak the quarterback position, no, not tweak because Mitchell Trubisky is just that bad. If you improve vastly the quarterback position for the Chicago Bears, you could be looking at a potential playoff team. Plus, they have an easier schedule since they went third in the division. The only problem for the Bears is that they are traveling on the road to Atlanta. Now, I'm going to be honest, not that the Falcons' home field advantage is all that great, but still though, the Falcons do have home field advantage here. But I'm already going to say we lose this game. I think the Bears just have a really good defense. Not that our offense can't stop it, obviously, but I do think the Bears have a better defense, and if they just improve that quarterback, you could be looking at a pretty scary Bears team. The next team I'm looking at is the Detroit Lions. This is the opposite of the Chicago Bears, and I think this team has absolutely no potential whatsoever. I don't think Matt Patricia is a very good coach. I don't even know if Matt Stafford's going to be much of a threat. Well, I don't want to say he's not much of a threat, but he's definitely not who he used to be. Let's just say that. This Detroit Lions team has been pretty bad for a while now, and I don't really expect anything to change. So I'm going to say we win this game, so that counts us as 1-1. The next team is the Denver Broncos. A lot of people had this as a sleeper team last year, and I thought that was kind of ridiculous because it was the same story we've been seeing. Like, they had the defense that won the Super Bowl and some offensive playmakers, but what is the one reason that's been holding them back? Oh yeah, they don't have a quarterback. And by the way, I didn't think Joe Flacco was going to fix that. By the way, he didn't. So now that Joe Flacco is probably not going to play, maybe not ever again for the Broncos, and if it's not that, he's definitely just not going to play that much. The Broncos are definitely looking forward to Drew Lock, and Drew Lock was pretty interesting. I don't know if he's going to be this big game changer for the Broncos. I think the Broncos' Super Bowl window is just about up. I don't know if their defense is as good as it was. I don't know if Drew Lock is anything special yet, so I say we actually go ahead and win this game. So that makes us 2-1. The next team is the Oakland Raiders. That's another team where a lot of people were hyping them up. I I just did not understand it. I thought this team literally never improved anything. And I know it's way too early in 2020, but I don't see any improvements on the Oakland Raiders, or I guess the Las Vegas Raiders. Sorry about that. I don't really see the Las Vegas Raiders being any better, to be honest with you. I do like John Gruden. Maybe they pick up Tom Brady. Maybe that'll be different. But if not, they're just going to stick with Derek Carr. And I don't think Derek Carr is going to do anything for them. This roster is absolutely horrendous. Plus, they're not going to move into that new stadium right away. And just like we saw from the Chargers, if you don't have a home field advantage the whole way through the season, that's just exhausting. So what if that's the same case with the Raiders? I'm just not very high on the Raiders. So I'm going to say we are now 3-1. Then we move on to the Seattle Seahawks, and I'm always wrong about this team. Every single year I'm wrong about this team. I always say they're going to suck, and they end up proving me wrong, because as long as you have Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll, you're going to be okay. So I'm going to stop doubting them for once, and actually I'm just going to go ahead and say we lose this game because, hey, it's Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll. You can't really doubt that. Now, yes, the Seahawks do have to travel, but like I kind of said before, the Falcons don't really have the best home field advantage. So, so that's painful to say, but it's true. So I do think the Seahawks win this game. They definitely don't have the better roster than the Falcons, but I think they do have the better, I guess, mentality. Like, they have that big game mentality to win these games. They have just really good culture there, and I think the Seahawks are going to win this game. The next game is the New Orleans Saints. Honestly, it could go either way. Even if Drew Brees retires, I do think this Saints team is going to be pretty good. That's just painful to say, but it's true. I guess we win this game. Like, the Falcons do always split, or maybe not always, but usually they split the series between the Saints. The only reason I think they're going to win this one is because winning at New Orleans, yes, we did it last year, but the Falcons usually struggle at New Orleans. If they are to beat the Saints, it's always at home. It just so happened to be that it wasn't the case last year, but I think it kind of goes back to that norm in 2020. I think they split the series against the Saints, and they're going to do that at home. I think the Falcons and Saints is always a heated rivalry, so you never ever know what happens no matter how good the team is. So let's just say we win this game. Then the next game is the Carolina Panthers. I'm already going to say we win that game because this team is in full rebuild mode and they're not going to be any good. Plus, are the Falcons 8-2? They are 8-2 since beating the Panthers in 2015. 8-2. So I don't know what else to tell you. Like, the Falcons always beat the Panthers, not expecting anything different. Then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is always a heated matchup. It's always a really good game, and I just don't know what to say here. The game, or the matchup is always split, to be honest. Like, the Falcons and Bucs always keep things close. But I'm going to go ahead and say we win this game because King Crablegs is probably going to throw like 35 touchdowns again. And I don't know if I do like Bruce Arians, but I don't know if he's ready to coach just yet after retirement. He's probably going to need a little more time. And plus, the Falcons just usually beat the Bucs, but that's not always the case, I guess. But I do think we win this game. So 6-2 to start the season. It looks like things are pretty good so far. But then we go on to our road games. And the first game I'm looking at is the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, you're not winning that one. You're going to go 6-3. Look, first off, the Vikings have one of the better home field advantages in the league. Second, the Vikings have one of the better rosters in the league. And third off, well, the Vikings always beat us. The Vikings are our kryptonite. I thank the Minnesota Vikings for beating the New Orleans Saints almost every time in the playoffs. But I'm not going to thank you if you beat us. So, yeah, we're not going to win that game. And then the next game is even worse. On the road versus Kansas City Chiefs, the Super Bowl champions. No, sir. You're going to lose that one. No. Patrick Mahomes' offense is way too good. The defense is not, like, elite or anything, but it's been getting better, I guess. And plus, the Chiefs have one of the louder, maybe if not the loudest stadium in the NFL. The fact of the matter is, it's just hard to say we're going to beat the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm not looking at a win there. Then we have to go on the road in the new stadium, actually, the Los Angeles Chargers. And I'm still not expecting this big crowd change for the Chargers. I don't know if the Chargers are ever going to have that many fans just because they moved into a new stadium. And plus, I was correct on my take last year that the Chargers were going to disappoint. Nobody believed me, but I said, look, the first thing is they're the Chargers. Like, are you seriously saying the Chargers are going to be good the very next year? No, the Chargers have always been inconsistent. The second thing is, look, they have no home field advantage. And even though in 2020 they're moving into a better stadium, I still don't think they're going to have many fans anyway. I mean, this team is already in a scary situation with the quarterback. I don't know if Phillip Rivers is going to be anything special or if he's even going to play. They might draft a quarterback and have him play or whatnot. I don't know. And the Chargers always get injured as well. So I'm going to say we win this game. Yes, it's a long flight, but not a really big believer in the Chargers. Then we have to play at the Green Bay Packers. I don't know about that one. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Lambeau Field, especially if we're in the snow. Like, if we're playing the Packers in the snow, yeah, you can definitely count us out. Let's just be real. The Falcons do not do good in cold weather. Also, Lambeau Field is really strong, and the Green Bay Packers might not be the most talented roster, but they usually are a playoff team. And recently, the Packers have, well, maybe not recently, but the Packers look like they're just in better shape to have a better season than the Falcons, to be honest with you. So I'm going to say we lose that game. Then onto the road versus the Dallas Cowboys. Another tough one. The Cowboys have a good home field advantage. They have a great roster, and I guess you could say they have a better coach. I don't know if Mike McCarthy's anything super great, but he is a really big improvement to Jason Garrett. And the Cowboys could be a pretty good team this year, but at the same time, we're talking about the NFC East. So anything can happen. I don't know. That one's hard to predict. I guess we lose this game because the Cowboys could be a pretty good team next year. They're also kind of a sleeper team. Like, I don't know if the Eagles and Carson Wentz is going to be anything great next year. I used to be pretty high on Carson Wentz. I don't know about that anymore. Dak Prescott might not be like the best quarterback ever, but I think he's shown a little bit of potential. I also just think Mike McCarthy is a pretty good improvement for the Cowboys. So I guess I'll say we lose this game. Then on the road versus the New Orleans Saints. Again, the series is always split, and I guess I did kind of spoil that we split the series to the Saints earlier in the video. And I'm going to say that's exactly what happens here. The Saints have one of the better home field advantages in the league. They also have a great roster, and the Falcons, with the exception of last year, they usually struggle in New Orleans. So 7-7. Then the Carolina Panthers, that's an absolute dub. Panthers suck. And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road. Usually we win in Tampa. So, you know what? I'll say we're going to win to Tampa Bay at Tampa Bay. So I got 9-7 so far for the 2020 Atlanta Falcons. That is technically a winning season, but is that good enough to make the playoffs? Unless the NFC is seriously that bad, no. And this is really painful to say. I know you guys don't want to hear this, but it's just the way I feel right now. I'm not really optimistic on the Falcons. Like I keep on preaching over and over, man. First off, I'm always trying to be honest in this channel. I would be lying to you if I said we're going to go like 13-3 and get the first seed. Like that's just giving you guys false hope. Let's just be real. We all know the Falcons just probably aren't going to do that. So we need to kind of look at it in the bigger picture here. And you know what? If you see a better record, that's fine. show it to me, and maybe I'll change my mind. But as of right now, I'm not too optimistic in the Falcons. So I got 9-7 as of right now. But again, don't take any of this too seriously. These are just my way too early 2020 Atlanta Falcons predictions. Way too early. The Super Bowl is this week. I didn't even go over the draft. So don't take any of this seriously. I'm probably going to do these types of videos again, and maybe we'll get a better result than 9-7. But thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you guys this Tuesday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern. Let me know what you guys think the Falcons are going to do in 2020. And as always, rise up.